Registered or licensed financial advisor, planner, or broker, so nothing on this channel should be taken as a recommendation to buy or sell. I also trade all of these things, so I probably have a vested interest in there. But there's plenty of entertainment value and lots of education, so this will be awesome. For those of you who didn't know, my subscription channel is live, so look at the link in the description over at cryptoinfluencers.com. And you can see how I make all of my trades and what I do and what I think about everything. This channel is for more hypothetical and looking at trends, and the other one is for actual trading, so you might be interested in that. Welcome to Wednesday, live stream day. I really enjoy these. It's pretty fun to get some input from the community and see what you guys are thinking. See if you're, see how things are going. I loved last Wednesday because it was during the FOMC meeting and the market was super volatile, and I was like, oh, look at Bitcoin's crashing, and then it just totally launched right after the video was over. So, you know, that's one thing about crypto and just trading in general. It just keeps you humble, you know? If you're way too confident, you're gonna have something's gonna hit the fan. It's kind of a newbie move to be so confident. The older the trader is, the less sure of themselves they are. It's almost they kind of go hand in hand. All right, couple of items. Just to remind you that cryptoinfluencers.com is my home base, so join me there. Just subscribe to the free account here just so you can see the daily stuff. It gets published here first. And we've had quite a few people join the pro channel, which is cool. I think it might be because I've closed some trades, and you can kind of see some of these trades. One of them I have, let's see. Yeah, I closed the craziest. This was definitely my best trade as far as a percentage goes since I've started the channel. I put like, what, 30 bucks into something, and it made $7,000. So that is pretty cool. These are the types of things that I'm showing you how to do on the pro channel. And you know, I'll post something like this and they'll be like, whatever, that's not real. Lies, lies, lies. Everyone on the pro channel can vouch for it. It is actually strategic. So anyway, that's pretty good for that. I don't know if I'm live, so if somebody wants to put a comment in, I would appreciate it, just so I know that things are working. Also, it'll be much more interesting if you make a comment or something so that we can have a conversation. If not, you're going to get my monologue. But anyway, here we are. This is Bitcoin on today, Wednesday. This is the minute chart, and I'm comparing Bitcoin on top with the S&P down below. Just a friendly reminder that our markets are not fully independent. Oh, nice. Ras Palmer, nice. Thank you. Watching from the UK. I'm not sure what time it is over there. I hope you're not up too late or too early. But I appreciate you being here. That is very awesome. So yeah, you can kind of see how there are a few differences though, but we really march in tandem with the US markets. It's just the world we live in. But yeah, a few differences. Bitcoin got a little excited. It managed to make a green zone where the markets didn't, and now we're in a red zone, and we're not quite there on the U.S. markets. So there's still some differences. It's kind of interesting to kind of pull that up and look at what we're doing. But this video is about emotion management, and I'll tell you what. There was a guy. He's very well known, and I'm not going to out him or anything, but he's very well known. I've known of him for a long, long time. I knew he puts out a ton of advice, written some books, done some things, you know. And he you know, he was doing a Twitter Spaces one time, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna pop in there and just pick his brain, ask him what does he do if something goes wrong. How does he deal with disappointments or things like that? And so I asked him some questions, and his answer was shocking for someone that has been kind of well known and people know about him, and he's kind of, he's got a lot of charts and he puts out a lot of advice and things. He said things like, I cheat a lot. I move my stops a ton. I'm not super emotionally disciplined. I was like, I was so shocked to hear that, because it's everything he said was definitely, you could totally get yourself blown up if you don't have, rules and you don't have a plan. You're just going to be ruled by your emotion. And I was like, holy mackerel, maybe that's why he sells so many books. He probably doesn't make any money trading. But yeah, so emotion management is so important, especially when you have a market that is as volatile as crypto. I tell people a lot that we, a year in crypto is like a decade in the stock market. And it's just because of that. And so Ras Palmer says, BTC frustrated me today. No drop yet. It keeps bouncing. Exactly. That's why we're talking about emotion management. Local Liquid, nice. Hey, Calvin, when is the new piece coming out? How much Chopin do you play? Much of his stuff is so complex. I love it. Do you play chess? I play a lot of chess. Cool. These are awesome questions. I'll answer some of those a little later. But yeah, as far as the emotions involved in crypto, it is tough. Most new traders, they can barely handle the stock market, which is up and down a portion of a percentage per day. And when you get into crypto, things are moving up and down 10% per day. Like, there were double digit up and down yesterday. Just insane. Markets are so wild, and it takes a ton of discipline to actually manage all of this. So my number one tip for managing discipline is to stop trading so much. The smaller your trade, the less sleep you lose. And if something goes wrong, you can recover from it. And you're like, well, what's the fun in that? How do I I won't make money? Well, that helps you too when it goes the right way. If I just had a 14,000% gain. When it goes the wrong way, I need liquidity. So my position size is small enough that when it goes down a giant amount, because I'm like 200x leverage, I can handle the downside. But when it's going up, I can sit on that trade because I know I only have 30 bucks at risk, and I'm making several $1,000s off of that. And I can sit in a trade until I see weakness. And I'm not so worried about hitting tops and bottoms. I'm hitting trends on the way up and trends on the way down. And I'm really kind of looking at it. So number one is to make sure that your position size is small. Number two, it's a lot easier to manage emotion when you have specific targets in place. I like to put a little bit of profits after we go up a certain percent. I like to take a little bit off the top when things run pretty well. And then if they run even more, I'll take a little more off the top. And I'll keep doing that so that I have I have a place emotionally where I'm satisfied with a profitable trade. And so that keeps me from being worried or concerned. So when the trade goes against me, my position is small enough that I don't freak out. And when the trade is going my way, I don't freak out because I have specific targets in mind. And I know the targets can they can change based on the shape of the chart and everything, but I like to just keep things simple. And everyone on the Pro channel knows exactly what I'm talking about. So a couple things: setting those rules, setting targets. That makes me so I can trade once a day. I don't have to think about the market all day, but I do because I love it. And so with that, I can sleep on a trade, let things blow up, let things go well. And even on weekends or nights when I'm not fully paying attention, I'll be closing trades and taking advantage of opportunities. And all I'm doing is setting things up in advance. So it's just clean as can be. And it's just, yeah, it helps you stay emotionally aloof. The other thing is, so position size and having specific targets, Those are some pretty solid pieces of advice. The other thing is there's an advantage in being diversified. It's kind of hard to do. The markets usually move together, especially in Bitcoin and altcoin markets. But having if you're too invested in a single coin and it just happens to be the one that doesn't move, and then the one on the news or the ones your friends have is moving like crazy, you start feeling that FOMO, and you're like, I should sell this, or this coin's moving, or whatever. It helps with emotional management to have a nice broad spread. I trade 100 coins. I am watching 100 different coins, and I'm looking for weakness and strength. If one goes the right way, great. If one goes the wrong way, I don't care that much because I have a lot of other positions, and I'm not so invested in the outcome of a single coin. And so that helps a lot with emotional management as well. And then let me see. There was one last point about the FOMO. Yeah, I think it's just a maturity after trading for long enough that you realize that a lot of the hype and emotions that exist out there in the world are misdirection. It's been documented that bankers will say they'll talk about market weakness just so they can buy. And they will talk about how hot the market is and how amazing, and they'll put these high price targets on things just so they can sell. And so I ignore the majority of the news and look purely on the charts to see. So yeah, so that's kind of the core material that I wanted to talk about. And we'll talk about this move because there's a very, very fascinating developments happening in this Bitcoin move. But yeah, so I'm working on a piano piece. I just love Rachmaninoff for some reason. He's the guy that I love everything he's got, and I have a song that's pretty close. So if I finally get a quiet Sunday afternoon or something, maybe I'll record it and pop it up here. But Nick V, Bitcoin altcoins or USDT altcoins? Yeah, so I used to trade exclusively Bitcoin pairs. And the reason I did is because I didn't care about dollars. I just wanted more Bitcoin, right? And so trading versus Bitcoin was a way of doing that. Well, then I started trading in a realm where I was kind of helping other people. And with the Pro channel, it's the same. I'm kind of helping other people with, just, what I see and how I trade and things like that. And if I do it again in dollar terms, it makes things a little bit more digestible, and it helps people that don't think the same way. So if Bitcoin's dropping and altcoins are dropping faster, I'd rather be in Bitcoin. But all of my followers and all the people that are trading with me or whatever, they just see their USD value plummeting. And so I decided that I'd make the switch in my trading just because I don't want people to get too emotionally, spent. People make bad decisions when they're emotionally stretched. So anyway, that's kind of why I do that. I prefer altcoin to Bitcoin trades, but most of my trades are leveraged now, and so I can keep the majority of my stuff in crypto and still have plenty of exposure versus the dollar and make some money that way. So that's a really awesome question. And yes, I do play chess. I don't know if you guys know, there's an app called Really Bad Chess, and I have played that for a long time. And I think I'm on the leaderboard on quite a few of those. And I don't play it like a ton anymore, but I still play probably every day. It's really fun. Normal chess I get a little bored with. The Really Bad Chess, they put all these weird pieces everywhere, and it's entertaining. So you'll have to check that out. All right, let's look at our Bitcoin move. We are waiting for a drop, and it's driving us nuts. Well, everything is pretty much spot on. I'm going to the 4-hour chart. Look at this 4-hour chart. We talked about Wyckoff yesterday, and we hit our buying climax. We've fallen back down, and we've created a trading range. So this became our trading range, and we traded really heavily in the trading range for quite a while. And then we have these little fake outs, these quick up thrusts. And this was our most important up thrust, a big, big move right here. And it was a pretty awesome fake out because not only did we drop back into our trading range, but we tapped the bottom of our trading range as support. So this is framing our market really well. Now, we have one final up thrust after distribution. So it's one more, even higher move. And you see these wicks, they popped up to 24,250. These higher wicks, they are kind of the last bull move to test to see if retail and anybody else is going to hop on board. And it came back really hard. In fact, we tried twice. Two really ugly bearish candles at the very top, and then a straight rejection. And what was weird is we have our trading range. Our trading range was well defined, and when we fell back, we found our trading range as support, and for quite a while. So this was interesting. So there was a support resistance situation happening on our trading range. But let's see, the 5th, so this was just 3 days ago, we broke down into our trading range, entered the yellow zone. This ended up being a very long yellow zone. And not only did we enter the yellow zone, but we also broke below the 100. Breaking below the 100 is major. This is a big, big move. That means we've consolidated for long enough that that we are now showing weakness against two major trends, not just one. By the way, our 4-hour chart is about to end in 30 seconds. And so we can analyze this really soon. But let's zoom in on this. We got 1 day of green zone. This is very, very interesting because, flipping from green to yellow is usually the move. And we've had a couple of fake outs. And when this flips to green, it makes this a fake out, right? Well, what's very unique about this particular yellow zone is that when we exited to go to a green zone, we pulled way up and dropped right back down into our trading range. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, this is so cool. So we ended up doing this. And what's our last move? What was the last move that we've been waiting for on the Wyckoff? It is our last point of supply. Our last point of supply is one final fake out. This is kind of the ultimate bear trap or bull trap. Anybody who's left bullish after all of this, because what happened over the course of this move? The news got hot. All of the, people that are, influencers, public people, they had nothing bad to say about Bitcoin. It took them a while to get warmed up, but everyone got excited around here. And even though we haven't moved, the sentiment has increased. So we haven't shown more bullishness, but the sentiment has gotten hotter, which is very interesting, right? I mean, that's the misdirection that I'm talking about. So this is the emotional management. I'm always, when the majority of people are saying buy, I'm getting nervous. I'm looking for sells or weakness. When the majority of people are talking about how horrible things are and how weak things are, that's when I'm looking for opportunities. So it's just playing contrarian against the majority of the vibe. But it's amazing how there was no more strength in this market, but the sentiment has gotten better and better and better. Well, that means that our breakdown is coming soon. And we had one last wild bull trap right here. And it was pretty wild because honestly, had we closed on the outside of our trading range, it would have put into question the entire Wyckoff. It would have been very questionable because this was our last up thrust after distribution. And we're looking for a bull trap, this last point of supply. And it was kind of a close one. I think within the last half hour, we ducked back in and closed right at the finish line. And so now what have we done? We've rejected off the top of our trading range, which is picture perfect. Now we have dropped pretty good. And we dropped so much that, let me go to the 1 hour. You can see on the 1 hour that we had a cascade. So this was our 1 hour move above the upper range of our trend of our trading range, and then we intensified. We intensified. We lost the 20. We lost the 100. We lost the 50 hour, and we dropped all the way down, and it really went fast. And then we had a huge spring. So this became a buyer. This was a selling climax, and usually selling climaxes will give you some strength. So we had this move here, and then where did we reject? We rejected off the 50. So perfect. Like this is so great. This is how this breakdown should look, you know. So we've respected our trading range. We got really hot on the sell side. We came up for relief, and we found a resistance on our 50. So now we're below all three averages on the 1 hour. So our 200's up here, the 100's here, and the 50 is here. We're in a red zone on the hourly, and this is only in the last 4 hours that this has happened. So where's the breakdown? How are we gonna be how are we gonna be ready for the next move? Well, there's a little bit of structure that has kind of appeared. I was pointing this out to the pro channel this morning. We have kind of a secondary support that is happening. I'll put it right here. Technically, this should be higher. It should be on this candle body right here. But how this works, this is how I do my technical analysis. I'll put it on the candle body, and I'll notice that it has found respect. And there was lots of respect on this here until this candle body. And by a candle body just moving slightly out of the range, it actually pushes our range down slightly. And so it would push it to the bottom of there. So this is kind of an intermediate. Let me make it dashed so it's different. Our trading range is still intact, but for the majority of our consolidation, we've actually consolidated slightly higher. That's why the market freaked out when we dropped below this level here, especially when we were on our kind of cascade. So a break below this level, which is now 22,761, a break below this will probably supply us enough weakness that we may be testing. We may be testing our bottom range. And this is where the whole thing falls apart. We get down to this bottom range of our trading range, and that's at 22,550. Moving outside of this, and things are going to start moving a lot faster. Most of the bulls are blind to this. Most bulls are looking at this thinking, oh, we're just going sideways. There's nothing to worry about. We're just consolidating. There's no, oh, this is fine. We're just getting geared up for our next move up. But no, there is a markdown coming. We're just not outside of our trading range yet. So once we get outside of the trading range, it'll be pretty indisputable that we've broken down. And then the fear will come in, and we're already well ahead of all of that. Not only emotionally, but hopefully our trades are in the right place for that. So things are looking pretty good for the unwind. On the daily, we had finally, 2 days ago, a close below the 20, which is a big move. Slipping below the 20 is huge. Yesterday, we popped up above it, but now, with about 4 hours left in the day, we're holding below the 20 pretty significantly. And a cross of the 9 and 20 is also a really nice signal that we're breaking down. Well, so what happens? How far does this break down? It's really, it's a tough one. Nobody knows, because we've never had a weekly death cross. Nobody knows. Looking at it from a pure chart technician standpoint, the most optimistic place for us to fall to is the 50. We will likely find support on the 50 in a bull market. If this is a bull market, because we've now created a new high past our other high. We're probably going to put in a higher low. Wherever this higher low is, it's the turning point. We finally have, we've had a lower high, lower high, lower high, and lower lows, lower lows, lower lows, all the way through this bear market. This changes when we put in a higher high and a higher low. The higher low is where I'm looking to go long. So I had plenty of alt positions that were really profitable all through here, but I want a nice safe entry for a large position for Bitcoin and Ethereum. And this pullback is what I'm waiting for. And so I don't know if 50 is it though. I mean, 50 could be it, but it could also, I also could be wrong. It could potentially drop down even further, but yeah, there's a ton of support in this area, about 19,000. Will the U.S. stock market blow up and cause all kinds of resistance for us? I don't know. So far, I'm bullish on the stock market. This looks amazing. And why? Why would I think this looks amazing? Because we have a high here. Well, so let's start at the low. We have a low. Now we have a higher low. This is something missing from the Bitcoin chart. We have a higher low on the stock market, and this is an undisputable higher high. This is a change of trend right here. From a technical standpoint, does that mean we are going to just go straight up forever? No, we'll probably come back and find support on this line. In fact, we'll probably find support on a lot of these. The 50 is probably a great place to come back to. So there are probably a couple of weeks of downside coming up soon to establish support. But do I think we're going to put in a lower low than this? No, because we've already started a trend, and it's a bullish trend. So that's why I'm bullish on the stock market. But in the meantime, this could weaken even for a couple of weeks. And that would coincide really well with a Bitcoin pullback. And if we pulled back for a couple of weeks, then we can retest our death cross. By then, the death cross will be in the books, and it might be a buy the news event. The fear of the death cross is probably going to have more impact than the actual death cross itself. And so if we pull back and then the death cross is official, it just might so happen that we pull back up into it and we cross it. It might be a nothing burger, but there will be fear coming out from this. The golden cross delivered a pretty, this golden cross, we moved up really, really good in anticipation of it. Now this could be a sell the news event. The golden cross is in the books, and then we pull back into the cross, and that's usually what happens. So that's kind of what I've been expecting. All right, let's see. I'm going to catch up on some of the questions. Ras says that Judas candle threw me out, of my short. Threw him out of the short. Yeah, if your position sizes are smaller, it helps you weather some of that. If you had a big position, I don't blame you. There's no sense riding something to your death. So if your position's too big, you gotta make a smart decision for you. Usually I like to slowly ease in and out of a bad position, but yeah. But anyway, that's all for those nitty gritties. You'll learn on the pro channel. Is it red on the 4 hour? I usually confirm on that 4 hour channel. Well, we just closed an indecision candle on the 4. We've got lots of red leading up to this indecision candle, and the wicks are extreme on both sides. This is not a reversal candle. This is pure indecision. So a lot of motions going on. I think a lot of people, smart people that can see this, they know that it should be bearish, and but also there's a lot of emotion of people thinking, oh, this is my chance. What's happening? It's wild. So we'll get to enjoy whatever happens over the next little while. Are you in position right now, or are you waiting for a pullback you mentioned? I am not long. In fact, I'm closing longs. If you're following my social media, I'm showing just my exits. I'm exiting all kinds of things because I'm anticipating that the Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to pull back in a decent way. and then I'll be loading up on longs there. And I'm also going to be loading up on longs probably across the alts as long as the charts look good. So thank you, Rob Story, for that question. Awesome. Raz says, do you think it may gravitate to 25K, then reject, then come down? Market makers can grab more liquidity that way, in your opinion? It's possible. When we're looking at a weekly chart, this, things don't have to be absolutely perfect. I mean, here's an example. Here were 3 strong candles. We finally had a top candle that was red, and we went up for 3 more weeks before we actually turned around. So this top candle didn't materialize. Markets will do whatever they want. We're just trying to be in a place where we've managed our risk to the point where we can handle any kind of move. So this is a bearish situation. They call this a dark cloud cover because we've turned around and dropped below 50% of the prior candle. But will this candle just go straight down and this will be the prettiest green to red we've ever seen? I mean, it might and it might not. There's a lot of power in this death cross, and this death cross will not resolve for another week and a half because the new candle will show up on Sunday, and then this candle won't close to confirm this until a week from Sunday. So we have a week and a half until this is official, and I don't know if markets will get wild. I mean, could it turn around? I would say if we went up to the death cross at this point, it would actually be a little bit bullish, even though rejection is very likely. The shape of this chart where we've overcome we took a 1 week break and we had a big green candle, the structure would be a little bit more bullish in my opinion. But if we pull back the way I'm thinking and we kind of grab support on a level like this, because we could wick down, but I bet we close our candle body above the 2900, and it would coincide with the line here. If we pulled back to support on this line here, we could have the death cross in, the 50 would continue to drop. We could retouch the 50 and it would be explosive because we'd have almost a cup and handle. So there's a lot that could happen. But it's hard to, I'm not a guy that goes out and predicts too far in the future. I only take the data I have. I see what's happening. I see a Wyckoff in play, and a markdown is next. So I'm just waiting for that. If it invalidates or whatever, I'm going to have to look for other things. But even from an emotional standpoint, we've gone up without a break. We need some kind of pullback on the other side. Could whales trick a bunch of people and pop us up? Yeah. But it would not be a Wyckoff. It would be something else. It would just be pure manipulation. So that was an awesome question. Man, this is fun. Local Liquid says, what do you suggest for beginner traders? I want to trade, but I'm afraid to lose a lot of money. Any pointers on how you start doing all of this? Well, there are 2 ways to do it. You can do it the hard way, which is do it yourself and make a bunch of mistakes. But that's kind of what the pro channel is for too, to help you learn. But beginner traders, I have done a couple of free videos. They're on my YouTube channel. They're really old, but all the principles are still in line. The major thing that you need to learn as a beginner trader is to not think of trading as a casino. We don't put it all on black. We don't put it all on one coin. You take small trades and you spread it out, and don't invest. I have a ton of cash on the side. The positions that I'm in, I'm very slow to enter. And when I'm making my trades, I'm making a small trade every time, and I have cash on the sidelines for when things, so I can kind of handle any situation. A lot of new traders will jump in, they'll be excited, they'll trade because they're excited or bored, they'll put it in too much, and they might have a few wins, but eventually they're going to lose. And so as long as your trades are small, believe me, you can get as much excitement trading $5 as you can $50,000 because the percentage and the wins and the losses, it's all the emotions of the market are at play no matter what your position size is. It just depends on whether you want to risk so much that you can't recover from it or not. But hopefully, even on the free channel, I'll try to walk you through where I think things are going and kind of help you keep a level head. So that's a good question. Maze, yes, great, thank you, welcome. Praise says, "Oh snap! Didn't realize you were live right now. Cool. I'm glad you caught me." Maze is waiting on the sidelines too. Yeah, I think a lot of us couldn't believe this move. Couldn't believe that it was a move with no break. I thought for sure if we had come back and found support on the 200 earlier, I'd already be long. Like I'd already be there. But it just was unstoppable, and so a lot of the patient traders didn't get the position they want. And, there are a lot of institutions that didn't get the position they want, and they're the ones going to be pulling this back for us. So you just want to be on the right side of the big money. Can you please take a look at the Chainlink chart? Somehow all the alts took off, but it's still pretty down. I would be happy to. So Chainlink is full on sideways. Look at this thing. Yeah, I drew this trading range way back when, and it was a 100% trading range. You touch the bottom, you touch the bottom, you touch the top, you've made 100%. Touch the bottom, touch the top, we've made 100%. We didn't get a touch to the bottom until the FTX blow up, but we're still waiting to retest the top. But yeah, as far as long term, this looks really nice. As far as we've dropped a ton, we're doing a full sideways consolidation, and we have had a pretty significant exit of the red zone here. So long term, yeah, looks good. Do I think it'll pull back before, when Bitcoin pulls back? Absolutely. I'm betting we come back and find support on the 50. And this might be a really nice long-term entry point for Link, and just purely my opinion. But yeah, I like to watch charts in slow motion. My trades are usually 1 month trades. They're not day by day trades. So I'll patiently wait for this to pull back along with Bitcoin, and I'll be picking up everything. So that's kind of where I'm at on that. Hope that helps. Pullback. Okay, so Praise says, I started small as a beginner and learned the hard way, but they were small trades, never trading more than 1% or 3% in any single trade. Once you get more comfortable, you can risk more. Awesome advice. People don't realize that professional traders, they put in 1% or less of their portfolio. So when you hear of some investment firm that's like, oh, we bought $30 million of Coinbase stock. Well, that's a small trade for them. They're not, 30 million might sound great on a headline, and it might be a lot of money for you and me, but for them, that's a very small percentage of their portfolio. And so you can't be tricked by professional traders throwing around big numbers, because they're still being very, very risk averse. The longer you trade, the more you realize, the more you're guarding against risk. I've said this before, but I'll say it forever, is that if you have a trade that's so perfect, it's a 99% trade, and you go all in on that 99% trade, well, you've opened yourself up to a 1% chance that you're going to blow up your account and you'll be done with you'll lose your life savings or whatever you've risked. So even if it's a 99% trade, you cannot put all of your money in there. You have to have a plan B, even if the plan B is so small. Yeah, so you just have to be careful. But I'll tell you, if you're interested in trading and you like it and you love to follow it, it can be profitable. It's hard work because there's a lot of emotional work that you have to do. Being patient through trades that are upside down and dealing with the challenges. It's not this glorious thing like in the movies where a trader's just going golfing every day and they're just rolling in the money. That is kind of a side to it once you get there. But it's more of a, it's a lot of discipline. And, if you can handle the emotions of it, that's really the question of whether it's for you or not. All right, good questions. Can you talk a bit about position size, namely reasoning behind the ability of 200 trades? Yeah, so let's pretend that So I'm trading 100 coins, right? if I'm putting if I put as much as 1% in every single one of those trades and the whole market drops, I have no escape route. I have no way of getting out of my situation. If I've put in, 0.5%, then every one of those trades, I've got an additional ability to average in and fix some of those. But let's say I've invested half my portfolio into a bunch of 100 trades and the market goes my way. Well, in crypto, when things go your way, they really go your way. I'm expecting, whatever I'm putting at risk, I'm expecting to make double, triple, or quadruple whatever I've put at risk. And so sometimes it's not always that great, but sometimes it is. And if I can expose a third or a half of my portfolio to reasonable good trades, then um, over the course of a year, I can double my portfolio, even with just using half. And so I'm kind of at the stage where I'm not trying to be I'm not trying to shoot the moon every time. I'm creating a consistent income, and I'd rather make a safe 30, 40, 50% than a risky 300%, because you're probably not going to make a risky 300%. You're probably going to make a negative 100%. And so if you dial it back, you'll still get awesome trades. You're going to beat the crap out of any stock investment program that you could ever dream of. You're just going to do way better, but you just don't have to be greedy about it. And people that get caught up in the hype, they're the ones that really struggle. They will lose their money because they're in this and out of that, and all that went upside down. I'm in a hurry and get into this one, and then it blew up, and I've got to take a loss here. Yeah, you're just gonna run yourself ragged. And so if your position size is small enough, you can handle when things go wrong. You can deal with a coin going upside down for a while, and then you find another point, and then things work out. Just like I've been saying recently, patience is free. I'm all about if I'm in a position that I know eventually will come back. It doesn't cost me anything to wait, and I will wait and wait and wait. I'm not in such a hurry that I need every single penny in a winning position at all times. I can handle markets going against me for a decent amount of time because I know eventually we're in crypto. Things will drop 90%, so every short will eventually be profitable, and it'll go up 10x. So every long will eventually be profitable. It just matters how big did you risk, and can you handle the weight. That's kind of what it comes down to. You almost can't lose. All right. Do you ever feel nervous or glued to a chart watching your position? Yeah, if you're losing sleep and if you're watching a position really closely, then you've got too big of a trade. I'm definitely watching Bitcoin lately because I have a very big upside down short, but I haven't freaked out about it because I've done this a long time. And I know that eventually it'll come back into line where I'm looking. But yeah, usually the more you're watching is the more you've risked. For me, it's also very fun. So I watch it all the time just because I like to see every little move and whatever. But yeah, ideally, at least the pro channel, we trade once a day. And the world can blow up or it can get all exciting, and we're all sitting around waiting another full 24 hours before we want to make another decision, because you can't change your mind 100 times a day. You have to have a plan and stick to it. Could I look at ADA? Yes. ADA, Cardano has been a very interesting one. Where did it go? Here it is. Yeah, look at ADA. This one was interesting. We exited the red zone, and usually you will pull up to the 100 and then pull back to the 50, and then pull up to the 200 and then pull back to the 50, and then you'll break above the 200 and you'll have whatever run you have. And eventually it turns into a green zone, and when it goes from green to yellow, you're out. That's usually how this plays. Well, ADA has shown tons of weakness forever. I mean, this is pretty ugly. I know that ADA's kind of taken a bad rap, down 92%. Yeah, this is brutal. But and every time we exited the red zone, it was a fake out eventually, and so it's happened quite a few times. This one is definitely the most sustained, and the market looks the best because we have our 100, our 200 coming down. Every other time we exited the red zone, the 200 was nowhere close. And here we've exited it, and now we've crossed it. So this formation is different. This is a different situation. Do we have a higher high? Technically, no. This high has not been broken, and I would not call this a high. This is all one move. So we have moved off of our bottom, and we have attempted a high that we did not break, but our chart structure is absolutely beautiful. What I'm expecting is a pullback to the 50 or the 100. We should probably land at about 33 cents, 33 or 34 cents down in here. And then what we will have done is we will have probably established a higher low. So we didn't get a higher high, but we're probably going to get a higher low. This is going to be a really awesome long-term entry point. And then we're going to reattempt our top. And this is going to look so close to a cup and handle, it's probably going to be time to fly. So I'm expecting markets to get too hot. I've been saying that the whole time, and they kind of did with Bitcoin. But if we pull back and have a healthy, foothold where we pull back, they're going to get hotter, a lot hotter. So it's all about patience at this point. This was a sweet run. I actually I just closed my ADA, I think it was this morning, because I'm anticipating a pullback with Bitcoin, and we'll hit somewhere in here, and it'll be a great spot. So that's kind of what I'm thinking there. I like ADA for the long term. Personal opinion, I like the coin. Yeah, I agree, Praise. Habib, welcome. Do you also follow the news or just charts? I stay as far from the news as possible. I can tell you what the news is going to say without even turning on the news. Right here, Bitcoin. News is going to be bullish. News is going to be like, Bitcoin is doing this wonderful thing, and this country's adopting this, and everyone's on board with Bitcoin. When Bitcoin drops a little bit, I'll tell you what the news is going to say. It's going to say, so-and-so lost this much, or this crypto company is struggling, or whatever. If news is objective, like, hey, there's an event happening, like Cardano's releasing some, the stable coin, or, something that's actually a thing, then I'm going to look at the chart and I'm going to see probably bullish buyers before the event releases, and then it's going to probably pull back. So I use news as a contrarian view to what I believe. I usually think that things are going to be overheated until news drops, and then the bottoms fall out. So I love to listen to news. I like to know what's going on in the world, but I never make trade decisions off of it. I'm only using the charts. And in fact, I don't follow a lot of other traders either, because I like to keep my TA clean. What I see is what makes me decide to buy or sell, not because someone else, told me this or that, or that I heard something on the news. Just my own personal thing. It's served me so far, and that's I kind of stick to it. Local Liquid, have you had bad trades and lost a lot? I know you said you do invest what you can afford to lose. Does your pro channel show you how to start from the beginning? The pro channel is just watching me trade. I make a lot of commentary, and I try to keep you, fully informed. But you kind of see my personal strategy. You can see that I'm trading a specific dollar amount, and it represents a small percentage of my portfolio. And I kind of talk you through all of that. Have I ever traded in a place where I can't afford to lose? I've had there was a pretty uncomfortable time, and the pro channel watched this during this move here. We were ramping up and gaining momentum, And I did have a lot of trades that ended up going upside down, and it was a decent chunk of my portfolio. So as things fell off, I've had to be patient. Luckily, it wasn't too much. In fact, I think I had maybe 80 trades open, and half of those have exited at profit just by me being patient. So the other half, I'm still waiting, and I'm betting after the pullback and another run, every one of those will be profitable. So yeah, I have blown up an account about 15 years ago. I was trading options, and I blew up my account and had to write a check to break even. That's not a fun experience. It's almost like you should do that at least once just to have a respect for risk management. But yeah, I haven't blown up an account since. I sure don't plan to. All of my decisions that I make are very kind of well thought out, and I have a plan B in every case. So for example, if my Bitcoin short, if this market changed and it started ramping up again, I would slowly exit that at a loss, because I'm not going to put myself into a position where I'm just going to, lose my house and lose my life. You know what I mean? But I take big risks sometimes, but I have a plan at least. But I have a very patient plan. I don't have to have it work out right away. And I've got a sweet margin built into everything I do. So really, really awesome questions. Good discussion today, guys. This hour has gone by so fast. We've been at this for 51 minutes. Good questions. Yeah, lot of stuff going on. I could really, get into the weeds. I noticed that Bitcoin dominance is dropping. So that means alts are outpacing Bitcoin. I think this will stop. If Bitcoin drops, everything in the alts is going to go double-digit negative, and Bitcoin dominance will pop up, and then we'll do another rinse and repeat on that. Alts have been on fire though. The altcoin dominance has left the red zone, is flying up, which is really, really cool. Ethereum versus Bitcoin has been interesting, because we had lost some ground, but you can see how we've found a little bit of support, and now it's outpacing Bitcoin. I think Ethereum will outpace Bitcoin long term. So there's a lot of things going on in the markets. You just don't have time to talk about everything, but little by little, every little trade, every little decision we make just slowly puts more money in the pocket, and that's the goal. So anyway, you guys are awesome. I'm glad you were here. I'm glad you asked some questions. Sure makes it a lot more fun than me just blabbing on about my own thoughts. So anyway, awesome. We'll do this every Wednesday. Sometimes I'm a little late, so if I'm taking, I have a kid I bring to preschool, and sometimes that puts me 5 or 10 minutes late. So thanks for being patient. But yeah, I'm trying to shoot for 12:30 every time, and so we'll catch y'all next week. Otherwise, I try as best I can to do a video for the free channels every day. Weekends get a little crazy, but other than that. But yeah, if you're curious, if you think it's worth $100 and your portfolio is big enough to mitigate some of that, you can sure join the Pro channel. A lot of people have joined us, which is really fun. It keeps the conversation in our secret Pro channel chat hopping, which is awesome. So anyway, I'll leave you there. Thanks for all your comments, all of you guys. We will catch you on the next one. Thanks for making it to the end of my video. Make sure you keep those trades small. Don't force a trade. Don't get impatient. And if you want to see how all this works, please come over and check me out on the subscription channel at cryptoinfluencers.com. Again, the link is in the description.